We are live. So 5, 9, 19. Okay, so write this down. Always start with the angle. Okay, write that down. In fact, I think I said that yesterday as well. Always start with the angle. Okay, so what happens is the angle then gives you your names. So I like to circle it because it's a visual for me. So I circle it. If I'm going to start with the angle, then I can get the name of the sides from that. Okay, so here's my angle. The 6 is directly opposite of it, right? 6 is here. So the 6 is my opposite. Okay, now think about that. Here's the 34, my angle. And I'm going to be throwing it, like throwing a rock across the triangle to its opposite side. AC is the hypotenuse, and BC would be the adjacent. Adjacent means next to it, okay? The hypotenuse is always the longest side. The hypotenuse is always the side opposite the 90, okay? Now from here, it depends on what we want to find. In this case, we want to find AC. So I'm going to call that X. So what I like to do is circle the things I need, circle things I know. I know the 6, which means I know the opposite side. I want to find AC, which is X, or the hypotenuse, okay? So what I want to do is this. Opposite, hypotenuse. So I look up on the board, and opposite hypotenuse is the sine, right? It's the sine. So I'm going to write sine of theta is equal to my opposite over my hypotenuse. So again, it starts with the angle. Use what you know, and then the other side is what you want to find. Circle the things you're working with. Circle the things you're working with. Yeah.
So hypotenuse, the opposite of what 90 degrees is.
Always, yes.
And then in this case we would use 6.
Yes.
Over 6.
Because we know 6, right?
And then right now hypotenuse is X.
We don't know it. Yes. So let's go through this. This little symbol means angle, right? So instead of writing theta, I write 34. Because theta is my angle, which is 34 degrees. So let's rewrite this. I'm going to rewrite this as sine of 34 degrees equals. And the ratio says it's the opposite, which is 6, over the hypotenuse, which we don't know. We call X. Okay? Yes, R2.
So what's the theta
Is the angle.
Is the angle that we know.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So we have 90 degrees, an angle we know, and an X.
So instead of writing this symbol, I wrote the angle, which is 34.
Okay.
So the angle goes right there. Now, if I have to solve this, what I'm going to do is multiply by the 6. Okay, bring the 6 up. Bring the x up, so I get x sine of 34 is equal to 6. Okay?
So 6 over.
I'm going to divide by sine of 34. Divide by sine of 34. Because I have to solve for x. This is just a number, so I divide. And now that's an actual calculator calculation. So I just simply go 6. Whoops, clear that. Quit. I'm going to go 6 divided by sine of 34. And I get an answer of about 10.7. Okay? Yes?
What kind of method is the calculator using? Is it dividing the number? Or?
Right. So inside the calculator, sine of 34 is just some number. Sine of 34, it has a number. It's a decimal number, okay?
Okay.
So all of these angles, the sines, the cosines, the tangent, like I can do any tangent of, let's say, a 40-degree angle. It's just a decimal number in my calculator. So all these numbers are stored in my calculator, and we just let in the calculator.
So tan is a decimal number.
Sometimes tangent's bigger than 1, but yeah, it's normally decimal, okay? All right, so real quick, let's do this. On our paper, let's go back to this, okay? Let's go back to our paper. So what I want to do is talk about this. We have sine of an angle. Sine of an angle is equal to the opposite side. We talked about this yesterday, over the hypotenuse. Okay? Cosine of an angle is equal to the opposite side, I'm sorry, the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And yesterday we talked about tangent of an angle is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse, okay? So everything starts from the angle. From the angle. You go to the angle first, then you name the sides. Go to the angle, name the sides. So let's take a look at the next one, okay? Artem, you ready? Okay. Start with the angle. So I like to circle what I know. So the first thing I'm going to do is go straight to, and I'm going to circle 40 degrees. Okay? Always start with what you know. Okay? 40. I also know the 12, so I'm going to circle the 12, okay? So circle what you know. I know my 40 degrees, I know my 12. So everything starts with the angle, right? Always start with the angle, because I get my names from the angle. So this is my opposite side, right? This is my opposite side. This is my hypotenuse, right? And this is my adjacent side.
In this case, we know what the...
So we're going for IG, so adjacent is X?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So you guys are both right. So from my angle, here's my hypotenuse. Okay, yes. Here, and I want to find my adjacent. Okay, now I'm going to call my adjacent X, okay? So I'm going to circle that. So everything comes from, go ahead, Isaac.
I'm getting...
Everything comes from the angle, all right? So whatever's going on between you two is disrupting our class, okay? So I have the adjacent, I have the hypotenuse. So I look up my ratios. Which one is it? It's cosine, right? It's cosine. So I'm going to write cosine of theta is equal to my adjacent over my hypotenuse, okay? All right, now, so I wrote it down, but this little symbol means angle, okay? So in this case, my angle, my theta, is 40 degrees. So instead of writing theta, I write my angle. So I put my cosine of 40 here, and it equals my adjacent side, which I don't know, is x, right, over my hypotenuse, which is 12, okay? So I recognized adjacent hypotenuse, right? Really difficult to teach, you guys. It really is difficult. I'm saying this on film. It's really difficult to teach. Okay? When you two got something going on, it is difficult. Thank you. Back to this. Okay. So, why is it x over 12? Because the rule up there says it's the adjacent side on the top of the fraction, and it's the hypotenuse, which is on the bottom side of the fraction, right? It's exactly like it says. So I put my x on the top for the adjacent, and the 12 on the bottom for the hypotenuse. Yeah, Artem?
So the two numbers that we know, or what are going to determine, based on the type, what kind of...
Yes.
we're solving?
Yeah, that's why you name your sides, figure out what you know, figure out what you want to find, and then figure out which one of those three it's going to be. Okay,
We
now,
have the three buttons corresponding to the calculator.
we do. So now, let's multiply the 12 up, right? So multiply by 12, and I'll have 12 times the cosine of 40 is equal to x. And again, you're right, Artem, there are three buttons. There's the sine button, the cosine button, and the tangent button on my calculator. But this time I want the cosine. So I'm just going to go 12 times the cosine of 40, and I get an answer of about 9.2, okay? 9.2. The cool part about trig is it's not really that hard, is it? It all starts with the angle. It starts with the angle, okay? Thumbs up. Okay, turn the page. So now, example 1. Solve for triangle ABC. Now it says everything. When it says solve, we need to find angle B, because we don't know it. So let's find angle B. Okay, we need to find angle B. We're going to need to find BC, which I'll call little a, okay? I'll call little a. If this is angle A, then that's little a. I need to find side little b. So these are the three things I have to find. So I've got to find angle B. 2, I've got to find side A, little a. And 3, the third thing I have to do is find side little b. So there's three things to do. Now the first one's easy. Angle B is easy. 180 degrees in a triangle, right? Am I going too fast? 180 degrees in a triangle, right? So if 90's already been used, then like you said, right? Aiden, you said this. These two have to add up to 90. Does that make sense? So let's shortcut it. Instead of using the 90, let's just go these two add up to 90, right? So to find angle B, right off the bat, 1. The measure of angle B is simply 90 degrees minus 38. It's easier than going and adding up from 180, right? And you could add it from 180, but we know if 90 of it's already used, these two have to add up to 90. So I'll just use my calculus, 90 minus 38, and I get an answer of 52, okay? So the measure of angle B is 52 degrees, okay? 52 goes there, okay? Now, to get side A, pick an angle. Because you've got two angles now. You can pick either one. Don't pick the 90. Pick an angle. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Artum, it's up to you. Do you like angle A or do you like angle B? It does not matter, by the way.
Let's go angle B.
Okay, angle B it is, okay? All right, now you have forced us to use cosine. If you'd picked angle A, we would have used sine. It doesn't matter. Both will work. Now, why does say you forced us to use cosine? Because that's the adjacent side of the angle you found.
Because of the 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's next to it, right? And this is my hypotenuse, because it's opposite the 90. And the side A is right next to the 52, isn't it? That makes it the adjacent, okay? Now the B is my opposite side from the angle you picked, okay? So it all starts from the angle. Does that make sense? So you pick an angle. So I have my adjacent and my hypotenuse. So I look at my chart, adjacent hypotenuse. Do you see which one it is? It's got to be cosine, right? So I'm going to go cosine of theta is equal to my adjacent side over my hypotenuse, right? So my adjacent side, first of all, theta is the angle you picked. It's 52. Because you could have picked either one, Artum, but you picked that one. So my theta is 52, so I'll put 52 right there. So I'm going to go, okay, cosine of 52 degrees equals, okay, it equals, according to this fraction, the adjacent side goes on top of the fraction, the hypotenuse goes on the bottom part of the fraction, right, according to this. So I'm going to put my little a here, my unknown, and I'll put my 15 here. So now all I have to do is solve. So to solve for it, it says a divided by 15, so I'll undo that, do the opposite, so I'll multiply by 15. 15 comes right up here. 15 times the cosine of 52 degrees is equal to 8. Now I have to have a calculator because the cosine of 52 is a number somewhere in my calculator, right? So I just take my calculator. We go 15 cosine of 52, and I get an answer of about 9.2. Okay, little a is about 9.2. Okay. So I'm going to put my 9.2 up into my figure, okay? That's really 9.2 now. Okay, I'll put that in there. Now, yeah.
If you do start at 38, could you give us an answer?
Absolutely. Watch this, because you'd have 15 sine of 52. Check it out. Oh, hold on, clear. 15 sine of 38. Same answer. Do you see it? Exact same answer.
He got it right. He was looking at the right side. I was looking at I already I did it in my head. And I think I was
Now, listen to this next piece. Okay? B. There's two ways to get B. One, we could use Pythagoras theorem. We could. We can go 9.2 squared plus B squared equals 15 squared. That will work. That will work, okay? Or we could use trigonometry. We could do the whole thing over again. Let's use trigonometry. Pythagoras theorem will work, okay? I could go 9.2 squared plus B squared equals 15 squared. That'll work, okay? But let's use trigonometry instead, okay? So, all right. Let's see. Abby, pick an angle. Do you like B or A? I don't care. A it is, okay? And Abby, let's use the 15 because we know the 15. I could use the 9.2, but the problem is 9.2 is not exactly 9.2. I could, but let's not use it, okay? And let's find B, okay? You forced us to use cosine again. It is cosine again because of the angle she picked, right? She picked So we've got again in this case, this is no longer my adjacent side. This is my adjacent side because it's next to this angle, right? So let's set it up. I'm going to go cosine of 38 degrees equals my adjacent, which is my B, or my hypotenuse, which is my 15. Okay, so when Abby picked the other angle, this is no longer the adjacent side. It's the opposite, right? That's the opposite side. And this is no longer the opposite side. This is now the adjacent side. Nice job, Abby. So then we're just going to multiply for 15, right? And we'll go 15. We'll bring up the 15, multiply it up. I think this is faster than Pythagoras' theorem. I really do. So I've got 15 times cosine of 38 is equal to B. And I'm just going to use my calculator. Okay, right, I'm going to go 15 times the cosine of 38, and I get an answer of about 11.8. Okay, we're almost there. Do you guys, this is not that bad. You guys agree? As long as you pay attention. Okay, now if we look at example 2, here's the problem. It's called right triangle trig. I'll say it again. It's called right triangle trig. I don't have a right triangle, but I can make one. I can make one. Put it right down the middle. You guys agree with that? So if I cut this triangle right down the middle, nice job, Max. If I do this, and look at just half of this triangle, okay? So half of this triangle, right, there's my right angle, okay? That's a 22-degree angle, right? So I need two things, because the area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 its base times its height, okay? So if this is 22 degrees, this is also going to be, what, a 68? You okay with 68? How did I get 68 degrees for that?
You subtracted 22 minus 90.
Yeah, I just went 22. I went 90 minus 22. Okay, 68, okay? All right. Now, we have to find both the base and the height. It doesn't matter. We got to find both. It doesn't matter, okay? So, Jacob, what do you want to find? Do you want to find the height first or the base? Doesn't matter to me. The height it is. Let's call it h for the height, okay? All right. Beth Ann, which angle do you like, the 22 or the 68? It doesn't matter. 22 it is, okay? And so what we're going to use is cosine to find h. Let me see why. Why is it going to be cosine? Well, the 18 is my hypotenuse, right? And the h is right next to it, so my h is my adjacent. So I look at my chart. Adjacent hypotenuse, it's got to be cosine. So we're going to go, okay, I'm going to go cosine of theta is equal to my adjacent over my hypotenuse, because that's what's on the board, right? Our theta is 22, because that was the angle you picked. So theta is 22 degrees, I'll put 22 there. So I'm going to rewrite this as cosine of 22 degrees equals. Now the adjacent side I don't know. H over hypotenuse 18. You get this, don't you? How am I going to solve? How do I solve? Let's multiply the 18 up, right? Multiply the 18 up. 18 times the cosine of 22 equals h. You want to tell me what that answer is? 16, so the h is 16.7, okay? All right, now, what we can do then, in my formula, I can go, okay, area is equal to 1/2, I don't know the base yet, but I know the height, 16.7, right? I don't know the base, but I know the height. So let's find the base. So let's call this B for base, okay, that, B for base. So let's go along, okay, 22 degrees is fine. So the B is the opposite. You agree with that? The B is the opposite, and the 18 is the hypotenuse, right? Opposite hypotenuse, which one am I going to use? Opposite hypotenuse, which am I going to use? Sin. Or sine. If we were in church, it'd be sin, but you know. Okay, we'll use sine. So let's go sine of 22 degrees equals, because that's sine of theta, that's the theta. So you go to the opposite side, which is B, over the adjacent side, which is, or of the hypotenuse, which is 18. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. How do I solve? Multiply the 18. 18 sine of 22 equals B. Calculator, somebody do it for me?
6.7.
What'd you get?
6.7.
6.7. Now, I got a little something to do real quick. And I'll use a different color pen so you can see it. You watching? So this is 6.7. What's the base of the whole triangle? That's 13.3. I think the whole base is 13.3 or 3.4. Sorry, it is 13.4.
Because 6 is 12.
Derek, absolutely. I'm not going to do that though, but totally right, okay? So if this is 6.7, right? 6.7, so the base is really going to be 13.4, right? You guys agree with that? 13.4? 6.7, 6.7. So now we can just use our calculator to get the answer. I'm going to go 0.5. 0.5 times 13.4 times 16.7, and I get an answer of 111.89, or how about 9 centimeters squared. You can do this. You can do this, okay? So, the homework for today. And if you're not done with your flip tessellation, let's get it in, and we'll start the new one maybe tomorrow, okay? All right, so homework. Okay, you guys can do this, and I'll help you out. Okay. Huh? Hey, champ. How are you? You're double these champs. No, you're 3. You're gonna get 3 gold medals. I know. In fact, I'm gonna try to pass out medals today and ribbons today.
Are you trying to look from the lobster?
Who does that look like?
Okay, first of all,
Who does this look like?
okay, you said Mr. London. First of all, his head is inside of a screen, so he doesn't have a chin.
It looks like Mr. Electric from Shark Boy on the Fly. If you ignore the
She doesn't know anything about this.
It's pretty much the same thing. That's just the version of the one you like. We're talking the non-moving part.
Didn't you have electric eels or something?
It was electric. It was electric cords. They were electric cords.
Yeah.
Got
All right, so let's take a look at it. Okay, did everybody get one? Everybody get one?
Why?
I got food.
Sorry, that was a good one.
All right. So let's do, first of all, I'm going to do number 1 with you. Watch.
Isaac get one?
Yeah, I think you did. Let's do number 1 together, okay? Am I still recording? I am. Doggone it.